G'day mates, it's Busta here. So some of you may have noticed already that this particular video, it's quite short. The reason for this guys is that unfortunately I received a copyright strike on my last video. I'm trying to get the matter resolved and honestly I believe all the content I used is covered under fair use. But unfortunately it means that until I have the strike removed, I have to post shorter videos. It really does suck, and once again, it highlights the faulty system here on YouTube at the moment, which results in people's channels, like mine, being held hostage because of someone's ignorance on fair use, or just bitterness towards a review or critique of a video. Like I said, I'm hoping to get it resolved quickly, and I have filed a copyright strike counterclaim, contacted YouTube, and I even tried contacting the person who filed the strike. But unfortunately, the person who filed the strike is not speaking to me as of yet. And YouTube usually takes their sweet ass time dealing with these things. So until then, I'll keep trying to bring you guys some videos. But please bear with me, and please continue to show your support by watching the videos, as I really need the support right now guys. Alright, I could go on, but each sentence is chewing into the time of this video. So I'll keep you all posted, but without further ado, let's begin. Number 2. It was 2001 and I was 9 years old. My family and I had only lived in our house for a couple of years. It was in the middle of the night, on a school night, about 3 or 4 in the morning. I woke up to a metal clinking sound. At first, it didn't register that I was actually hearing it, as I heard it in my dream too, and I was still half asleep. It was actually the rattling of the doorknob that eventually woke me up. At the time, I slept with my bedroom door open, so I could hear it clearly. From the way the house is situated, I can see out into the living room with direct sightlines to the television when I sit up in my bed. I sat up and looked out, listening intently and trying to determine what exactly it was I was hearing. The living room was decently lit with moonlight, since the curtains at the time were thin and white, though not sheer. I got up, hugging my teddy close to me, and slipped out into the hallway, peering just around the doorframe. It must have been a full moon, because it was light enough that I could see the leading around the individual panes of glass that created the window of the French-style back door. Only one part of the window was clearly shadowed though, like something or someone was on the other side. I got down on my hands and knees, bare tucked under my arm, and crawled up beside the sofa to peek over the arm. Then I moved another few feet to crouch behind the nearest chair, so I had a clearer view of the back door. At the time, the doors all still had their brass knobs, and the knob at the back door was broken and it wouldn't lock. My eyes widened as I watched the doorknob turn with increasing horror, and I scurried into my parents' room. This was a useless feat though, since my parents, they sleep like the dead. I went to my mum's side of the bed first and shook her. She only moaned a little and then rolled over. I went to my dad's side and then I shook him. He didn't stir at all. I went back to watch the door, slowly moving closer. My stomach somersaulted with fear as I saw the shadow on the other side of the curtain move. It was clearly a person, probably crouched since it was about my height. Now, I was close enough that I could reach over to the light switch by the door and turn on the backyard light. But there was a gap at the edge of the curtain, and I was scared that I would be seen. I tried to wake my parents a few more times, to no avail. I was near tears at this point and too scared to go back to my room. I got my blankets and laid down on the floor in my parents' room. I closed my eyes for what felt like only a second, but the next thing I knew, my mum's alarm clock, it went off, and she called out to me to wake up. My mum was surprised to find me there, and I told my parents about that night. My dad went and checked the door, but he said that the bolt was still locked. They attributed my story to my imagination, or even that I had dreamed it and sleepwalked into their room. I had no history of sleepwalking though, and I was upset that they didn't believe me. Even to this day, they are still skeptical when it comes up in conversation. And to this day, I check the doors and windows every night before I go to bed and fall asleep, listening for any sounds out of the ordinary. Needless to say, I've become a very light sleeper.
Number 1.
My story starts when I was just 9 years old. I lived in a home located in Wollongong, a city that's located 90 kilometres south of Sydney, which, if you didn't know, is Australia. I was just a typical kid at the time, breaking the law, ding-dong ditching houses, and getting into trouble at school. But nothing can shake the trouble that happened to me on this day. I broke into a stadium that had been abandoned for years due to not being funded by the government to complete its construction. It was mostly just a rusted steel frame, with mini demountables to the right, and a huge long grass field to the left. Now, this wasn't one of those round stadiums that you would see on a television. The field is where people are supposed to play football, and the construction was a grandstand with a building attached to it. I could only tell this because of the shape and the fact that there was still some concrete around. After I broke in, I decided that I would go and walk around the field. Upon exploring the field, I saw a lot of dirty and shredded clothing. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was sleeping in the long grass, I thought to myself. But what I did find, which still sends chills down my spine, was a big half-rusted axe. I was pretty young, but I was still old enough to think, what the fuck is an axe doing here? I shrugged off the feeling I had after my discovery and started chopping down some small trees for the fun of it. After getting bored, I checked out the grandstand. I could hear the tin roof rusting above me, and whilst watching my steps, I could see the junkie syringes below me. Honestly though, this place, it was really creepy. Part of me wanted to explore more, but the other half of me, it just wanted me to run as fast as I could out of that place. Foolishly, I decided to not follow my gut feeling. I went to the demountables, and I can't remember how, but I managed to get into one of them. But I heard something that makes me regret going there, even to this day. I heard a man with a really groggy voice simply mutter,
"Hi."
It hit me faster than a bullet, enough to run as fast as I fucking could out of there. I heard running footsteps, followed by a crash, and then some swearing. I had time to run out and to see what he looked like. A man who must have been in his mid-50s. He had black, long, ratty hair, along with a black ratty beard. It turned out that the man, he fell into where the elevator was supposed to be. He had one of the most furious looks on his face that I'd ever seen in my lifetime. After I was roughly 200 meters away from there, I looked back. The man, he was on top of the grandstand, just watching me run. Weeks or months later even, I saw the same man running through a field, and I've never seen him since. To this day, his face, it still haunts me for some reason. He was so angry on that day. 7 years later, and I'm almost 16, I decided to go for a shortcut through some creeks. The creeks go past the stadium, which they were able to start and finish the construction already by then. But when I went through the creeks and what I saw, it scared me shitless. It was a pile of clothes, the same clothes that the man had from 7 years ago. I also went through the creek 2 days ago when I saw them again, but they'd been moved. I'm never going back to that creek ever again. G'day mates, it's Busta here. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video guys. And you know, I was thinking about making a soccer pun based on that stadium reference because you guys just know I'm a sucker for puns. And I guess you could say, I just achieved my goal. Thanks again to the Hive members that bravely shared their story for us all here, and I hope you're all doing well. For the chance to have your story feature in a video, you can send your story to my email, which is in the description below. And as always, keep them coming guys, as this channel relies upon your stories to continue. Also, please do me a favor and just state in your email what your story is about in the description, and also provide me with a short written statement of consent, just so that I can be above board with everything. And also remember to tell me in the email if you would like to remain anonymous, and please change any names if you don't want particular names to be shared. Again guys, big apologies that this video was so short, but as always, it would be awesome if you could like, share, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates throughout the week. You can also catch me on my second channel, all of which have links in the description below. Thanks for all the love and support guys, and for always tuning in, and I'll see you mates in the next one.